So I recently saw this game on YouTube called Rubber Ball Runner. But the thing is, I'm not really sure if it's a real game, because I've seen many videos of it on YouTube, but I searched for it on the App Store and couldn't find it anywhere. I was planning to maybe use stop motion to recreate it with my rubber band balls, but then I got a better idea. Using a website called Scratch, I completely recreated it as a playable game. In my game, you start the game and your character is one rubber band. Then you collect rubber bands and you become a smaller rubber band ball. The more you collect, the bigger rubber band ball it becomes. Side note, I discovered this game is a little bit buggy and difficult to play on mobile, as I'm recording this video on a tablet. Anyway, you collect the bands, and if you hit any of the knives, your ball goes back to the stage it was before, and you simply have to collect another band to go back to where you were. All of the different stages are pictures of actual rubber band balls that I have, which is why sometimes it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and you go from a regular rubber band ball to blue. The entire game, your goal is just to collect the bands and avoid the knives, making your rubber band ball bigger and bigger until you get to the final stage, which is of course Wilson. Once you get to the part 10 ball, the next stage you'll become is Wilson, and you'll notice the timer in the top right corner starts to go down at this point. This is because the end goal of the game is to become Wilson and survive for 1 minute. Now, if you hit one of the knives, you won't immediately go back to the part 10 ball, you'll just lose one of the bands you collected as Wilson. But if you lose all the bands you collected as Wilson, you will go back down to the part 10 ball and the timer will pause. But it does not reset, so all you have to do is collect another band and you'll become Wilson again and the timer will continue. Once the timer hits 0, you'll see the victory screen, which shows the settings you used for the game and how long it took you. And these are the different settings for the game. Number of bands it takes to evolve or go to the next ball, the default is 1. Number of seconds it takes for the items to go across the screen, the default is 3. And the chance the object will be a band, the default is 1 out of 2, or half the time. As you change these settings, the game will start to play differently. For example, you can lower the number of seconds it takes for objects across the screen and they will move faster. You can also increase the amount of seconds they take all the way up to 10 and they will move very slowly. The next setting you can change is chance object will be a band. You can all the way up to 1 out of 10 and you will almost only get 9. Alternatively, you can lower it all the way down to 1 and you will never get knives. Next, you can change the number of bands it takes to evolve all the way up to 10. For this example, I'll just show 2, so every other band you pick up will make you go to the next stage. Next, you can enable and disable the +1 effect and the left and right arrow buttons. Although if you are playing on mobile, you can't move without the left and right arrow buttons, but if you're on keyboard, you can use arrow keys. Then you can enable and disable the game ending if you want to play an endless version, and you can enable and disable random mode. In random mode, every time you pick up a band, you become a random rubber band ball, so it's basically complete luck how quickly you win the game. If you want to play this game, simply type the word Scratch into Google and this website will be the first result. Then in the Scratch search bar, type Rubber Band Ball Runner, and you'll find this game. I will also post a link in the comments and description of this video to go directly to the game.